Hi, I'm Tim, and this is Timberway Designs. I got 10 rocks here from western South Dakota. We go out there twice a year and look for rocks out there. And then I had some really good friends bring me a bag of rocks when they came and visited about a month ago. So I got a nice little selection here. Let's take a look at them. So here we have a nice selection of rocks from western South Dakota. A lot of these rocks come from the Indian River. They got prairie agate fields down in Fairburn, and another place we like to look is Railroad Butte. All three places you can go and look for rocks there, and I'll put them in the description down below. I'll pin the locations, so if you're ever out there. But I must caution you, if it's hot, you might want to reconsider going out there, especially in the summertime. If it rains, it goes from dry to super muddy in about 5 minutes out there. So keep that in mind when you go to these places. But man, there's some really good looking rocks out there. So let's take a look at these rocks. We'll start at the top here. So this is what people would typically call a prairie agate. It's not an agate. Most of the rocks that come from out there are jaspers, cherts, and feldspars and other stuff like that mixed into them. And a lot of times you'll see all this banding on the outside, and a lot of times it don't go on the inside very far, but sometimes it does. So let's get this one wet and take a look at it. So this is a pretty busy rock on the outside. Hopefully it's busy, just as busy on the inside. Even it's got a druzy pocket right there. All right, this one here, this is the lighter colored one. You can see it's got fortifications. Now, this isn't a Fairburn agate. You can really tell the difference when you see one of those, but it sure looks like a regular agate. We'll get this one wet. So it's kind of interesting. All right. And we got this chunk of jasper, maybe, I don't know, not sure. And these are kind of surprising sometimes too. You think, oh, it's just going to look like the inside's going to look just like the outside. Sometimes there can be some pretty neat patterns in there. So that's that one wet. And all these rocks here shine really well. There's another prairie agate. Get this one wet. And then a lot of them get like a husk on them. I don't know if it's from laying out in the sun or some kind of exposure from something else. I'm not really sure. Okay, what we have here is a piece of petrified wood. Now, I've brought a bit of this home, but I've never picked up a piece that you can actually see the wood, the annular rings on the inside here. So maybe this one will surprise us. But it's definitely petrified wood. Get it wet. So, but I mean, it'll make a beautiful cabochon. I am positive about that. So here's another AKA prairie agate. And these are pretty, but after you pick up, 30, 40 of them, then it's like, I don't need another one of these things. So then I start looking for color. Here's another piece of probably jasper, I think. And it looks like it's got some color and some pattern going on in there. So I'm kind of hoping when we cut this one, it'll have some interesting geography internal. Another chunk of jasper. Different colorations going on there. That looks like it's going to be a busy one. Another. Got some lines running through right there. We'll get it wet. So that might be interesting on the inside as well. And finally we got this piece here. And some, a lot of them, they're not exactly smooth. Some of these are probably river worn, getting washed out on the Black Hills. And it's got some fortifications on the inside here too. You can see a little bit right there. So that should be an interesting cut. So there you have it. Trend prairie agates. Let's go downstairs and cut them in half and see what's inside. Okay, we're down here on my high-tech 10-inch slab saw is what they call it on their website. So it is a slab saw. So we're going to start with this one here. And I got a, look at that, a non-wobbling blade. I put a new blade on there. So this one here, I think I'm just going to do a face cut right down there just like that. Here we go. Well, let's see what we produced on the first cut. Wow. See, these things here, you have no idea what's inside of them, and that is cool. Okay. Got a winner there. All right, now we'll cut the end off this petrified wood here. Wow, that took a while. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't had any luck with petrified wood coming from out there, but maybe this is the one that's going to be neat. Here we go. Ooh, that's not bad. Looks more agate-y than it does woody, though. Okay, now we're going to take this prairie agate, and I think I'm going to cut it right through there. Alright. Ooh, there you go. See, that's the other thing. The reds turn into browns out there after it's been laying outside. That is nice. Man, we are doing good this time. Okay. This one here. I think I'm going to take this end off here. We'll see what this one's got in store for us. Oh. Yeah, look at the little dots up on top there. That is cool. Okay. Got this one here. Trying to think. I think I'm going to take it down just like here. Alright, I'm kind of curious on this one because it's got some lines going. Here we go. Whoa. Oh, that is another nice one. Okay, we got this heavily fortified prairie agate here. I think I'm just going to cut the end off here because if this looks like this on the inside, I want to try to save as much as I can for slabs. Alright, let's see if the pattern goes inside. Yeah, it does, but it just, you think it would look just like that on the inside, and they never do. But that looks nice. I like that. That's busy. Okay, we've got this one here. I think I'm going to go for think I'm going to cut this end off right here. All right, take a look. All right, yeah, not much going on in there. I mean, I don't know. We'll look at it upstairs. We got this little guy here. I'm just going to take him right down, make a slab off of that right there. Okay, that's what it looks like on the outside. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. About the same. So, these rocks are really hard. That cut right there almost took me 3 minutes. So, they all polished, like, they all polished crazy shiny on these South Dakota rocks. Alright, now we got this one here. And I'm thinking I'm going to take this end off. I want to see what that looks like in there. Yeah, this one started falling apart on me. Let's see what's inside. That's interesting. Yeah, some of the lines made it through. Okay. And got this one here. I think I'm just going to split it. Nah, actually I'll take it down this side here. So I got a thicker blade here. This is a 42 thousandths, I think. So it's much thicker than what I usually use. I got this just for slabbing, but I thought I'd try it for this, and so you can see I don't use wobbly blades all the time. And we'll see what the final one's got for us. Well, that is interesting. Alright, so that concludes the rock cutting. That was the last one. I'm going to shut this down and I'll see you upstairs. Got a bag of really cool looking rocks from South Dakota. Let's take a look at them. So we got a nice selection of rocks from South Dakota. Now I found about half of these, and some good friends of ours brought out about half of them. I always ask them to bring me some if they're on their way out here, and they obliged, and they brought some really pretty ones. So we'll start with the petrified wood here, and like I said, I don't ever see the grains on the inside. This one here, I guess I don't know that's. Yeah. Yeah, I thought maybe saw marks, but it looks like grain. So that should make an interesting cabochon. I'm trying to get it so it's not so glary. There we go. Got some stuff going on the outer edges there. I don't know. I'd say this is a good chunk. Probably one of the better ones I've ever cut open. Okay, this thing here, let me get the crumbs off these things here. This one had a lot going on the outside. On the inside, I thought that looked quite interesting. So that should make, and it's smooth too. I don't feel any cavities or anything in there. So that should make a good, interesting cabochon there. Now this one here, this is the first one we cut. And I can tell you, a lot of times you have absolutely no idea what you're picking up out there. I mean, you look at that and go, eh. And then you look at that and go, oh man, that is so cool. Look at that. There's some nice colors in there. Just, I don't know. They must get sunburnt or something out there, and after thousands of years laying out there, they just kind of get a rind on them, and it just has no indication what's inside. Okay, here's another one with the banding on the outside. As you can see, there's no colors on there. Let me get the crumbs off here. And then you cut it and open it up, and it's got red in it. And that is so cool. Now, a couple of bands look like they penetrated there, but not like you're seeing on the outside here. Although I could probably slice it down this side here, and you might be able to see those. But that, just to see the color in there is fantastic. All right. Now this is another, banded prairie agate. And you think all them things run through there, but nope. They're in there, but not as contrasty on the outside, not as contrasty on the inside as they are on the outside. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is beautiful on the inside. I think it looks really nice. And it'll make a really good looking cabochon. But the outside, it just kind of fools you into thinking, now that's exactly what it looks like on the inside, but that's not the case. Okay, this one here had some eyes in it. It's nice and smooth cut. I don't feel any cracks. I don't see any cracks. The orange is beautiful. Kind of got some busy stuff going on in there, so that'll make an interesting cab. So this one here. You look at them, go, oh man, that's going to look cool on the inside. Well, it does, but it's not. It does not look anything on the inside like it does on the outside. And these stones are hard. They're all 7 or harder, and a lot of them took like 3 minutes to cut through them. So, and that's with a brand new blade, but they do shine beautifully. Okay, this one here had that there, and that's what it has on the inside too. Oops. I mean, everyone's different. You never know what you're going to find on the inside till you open them up. And this one here is probably, I might have to cut it through here to see if there's anything, but there wasn't much. Nothing that got me excited. So there's some little. Actually, those are pockets of something right there. I don't know. We'll make a cabochon out of it, but I don't think it's going to be a dazzler. And finally, got this little one here, and this one was really pretty on the inside. All those are all little plumes of mineral, little balls in like a quartz gel. It's nice and hard. Just looks, I don't know, just looks like somebody mixed it up with a bunch of little balls and let it harden and got different colors in there. And I think the cabochon we make out of this is going to look fabulous. There you have it. 10 rocks from the western prairie of South Dakota. 10 rocks that anybody can go out there and pick up, and they just happen to end up here. So I hope you enjoyed seeing 10 rocks. I'll say exotic rocks because you're not going to see this here all the time. Like I said, I do go out there 2 times a year in the spring and in the fall and bring back some rocks. I've been kind of fussy, but maybe now that I'm doing this series of video, I'll try to get some more interesting stuff and just quit spending all my time looking for Fairburns because I hardly ever find them anyways. So now I got the rocks that I cut last week from episode 8, and I've made cabochons out of them. And I'm going to show you the rough half, and then I'm going to show you a cabochon I made out of them, just to show you folks out there that I do make something out of these rocks. I'm just not cutting them in half. I mean, if they're really bad, they'll go out in the landscaping, but I'm trying to pick them up because I'm looking at them like I am going to make a cabochon out of them. So let's take a look at those. So here are the 10 rocks from episode 8 in the order I cut them, starting on this side here and then going like that. So first we had this piece of amygdaloidal basalt with these white, I'm saying calcite, but I don't know, I had changed my mind because there's little flecks of copper in them. When I made the cabochon, I could see that. So this is the rough rock here. And this is the cabochon. Right there, I don't know if I can do it here. Maybe I turn it this way. There's copper in there, pure copper, right in the center of that little splotch there. And actually, they're in this splotch over here too. It come out pretty good. It looks like a crack here, but this is filled with mineral, so it's not, you can't feel it. And then the shine came out relatively well. It's not, like glass shine, but it's good enough. So that's the back side. There's the front. There's the rock it came from, the other half, and there's the cabochon. Okay, this was a piece of quartz, white quartz. Kind of had some big chunks going on there, little mica and stuff. So here's the cabochon. And that shine came out beautifully on that. So there's the one half and there's the other. Okay, this one here, I had high hopes for it because it had this nice quartz line running through there, but it had a big honking crack going across the top of it, so I couldn't do anything down here. So I went up on the top here. Well, when I was making the cab, which came out really good, I'm not complaining about it, but the whole top end busted off of this, whatever this stuff is here, and I had to kind of shorten it about 1/4 of an inch to make it work out. But granite, there it is again, beautiful shine. There's back side. There's front side. There's the other half of the rock. So it was a good save, and I'm happy with what I got there. So this is a piece of amygdaloidal rhyolite, and it had epidote running through there. And the one I cut, if you looked in the video, had a big chunk of prehnite. Prehnite is what I meant on the other side. And I managed to save a little bit. It was going all over the place, but it just wasn't. It's just one of them deals where it just don't go deep enough to display it all the way across. But I got a pretty good chunk of it right there. Not too bad. And this one here, I had another problem with this. The whole tip broke off. The tip, it was probably about that much longer, and it snapped off on me. The camera's moving. But I think it got a relatively good shine. It got a nice pattern in it. So there's the other half, and there's the cabochon. Okay, a piece of chert here. And I probably should have known better to pick this up because it had all these gas bubbles on the outside. Well, the gas bubbles were on the inside as well. But I went ahead and made a cabochon out of it. And chert shines really good. It's really hard, and you can get a really nice shine on it. And of course, the gas bubbles are all over the place on this, so you probably won't be seeing this one on Etsy. There's the back side. There's front side. And it had some color variations inside. Usually church is kind of a yellowish color all the way through, just kind of blah, and that's reason why I don't pick it up very often. But I picked this one up for some reason. There's cabochon, and there's the other side. Okay, this piece of quartz here, I thought would have something growing on the inside because you could see it was kind of dark. I made the cabochon. Basically, I ended up with a gray cabochon. And quartz shines, another thing that shines beautifully. Got a little thingy growing on there that shined okay, but there's the back side. There's front side. But it's got a little grain kind of going in there, but it's nothing, like, wow, that looks cool. No, I mean, it's a nice cab, but it's kind of boring. So there's the other half, and there's cabochon. Okay, had this piece of granitic gneiss. The granite, and then that line running through there. I thought it looked kind of neat, and I don't do a lot of this stuff because usually it's kind of boring. And but I don't know, I picked this one up for some reason, but it made a really nice looking cabochon. There's cabochon. Got a pretty good shine. It's got some like micro fractures and stuff in there, so it kind of degrades the shine a little bit. But I mean, you can kind of see it right in there. But it's still, I think it come out really nice. The granite shined up really nice. There's back side. There's front side. I'm impressed. There they are. The cabochon and the other half. Okay, here's a chunk of granite. It had some feldspar, some quartz, and I don't know what, probably mica or something else growing in there. And that's another one that made a really nice looking cabochon. There's cabochon. Got a really good shine. And then, a lot of these bigger ones like this, and especially the coarse ones, you can kind of see the little inclusions and stuff in there. I mean, it takes away just a little bit, but overall, the shine on it is just fantastic, I think. And then it's got that big blob of feldspar in there. It kind of makes it kind of interesting. So there's back side. There's front side. And there's the two halves right there. So this is the piece of quartz that was kind of yellow on the outside, and then when I cut it open, it was white on the inside. Now, one of the viewers said, I hope I pronounced this right, it was luminite staining. It's kind of a yellowish mustard-looking stain. A lot of shows you watch, the guys will pick up, or ladies will pick up agates that'll have that staining on the outside, some chemical reaction with the water. I don't know how it gets on there. I could look it up, I guess. So I made a cabochon, and I thought it come out pretty good. Got a really nice shine on it. And I can put BZ on there. This is going in a stainless steel bezel. I think I got it right here. Let me see if it fits. Yeah, it's going in there just like that. So here is the rough half. There's the cabochon. And finally, that agate nodule I told you I found. And I had really high hopes. And it did have fortifications inside the agate lines, but they weren't like super apparent. I mean, you can see them here pretty good, but It's they're kind of light. I wish they were really white, but I'm not complaining. I mean, it's still a Lake Superior agate, and it's a cool find, especially to find the whole nodule like this. So here's the cabochon. Got a good shine on it. You can see some of the fortifications popping through, more eyeballish than actual lines. You can see lines on the edges, and you can really see them on the backside. So generally, when I do agates with lines, fortifications like that, instead of doing them from the inside out, which I had to do on this one, you know, cabot like that, I would do it from the outside in, because that way you would get all these lines in your finished cabochon here, which I did not. I mean, it still looks nice, and trying to keep it in focus here. It still looks nice. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Got a really good finish, and yeah, I'm quite impressed. And like I told you before, normally I would never do this. I would never cut one of these in half. It would go straight into my jar, but I thought we'd do that. So there you go. Lake Superior agate, nodule cut in half. So there's your episode 8, rocks I cut in half and cabochons we made out of the other half. Well, we had a lot going on in this show here, this episode. We cut some exotic agate or prairie agates from South Dakota, and had some really nice looking stuff there. And you got to see the cabochons I made out of the rocks that we cut in half on episode 8. And I hope you thought that was pretty cool too. So I'd like to thank my subscribers out there. I really appreciate you coming back and watching this content. I'm hoping you get something out of it and enjoy it. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. You know, I get this little dealie here I put up there. And then one of my, I think the last video I said, Dad, I don't know what that bell's for. Well, ring the bell, I guess, because then you get notified. I don't ring the bell, but I still, all the videos I watch and my subscriptions, they pop up in my feed. But I mean, you know, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. And then while you're down there, give me a thumbs up, because that gets the analytics out there so other people can find this content and maybe get something out of it, enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed this show. Probably have some more beach rocks next week, and that's all I got. I'll catch you later.